Hello world and all who inhabit it! Time for serious talk time! Sorry that I haven't been on YouTube or Tumblr as much lately. Been dealing with a lot of personal stuff and yeah, but we're back here. Just a quick note, I have made a Patreon for this channel. You can find it in the description down below, and I would really appreciate any support that you guys would want to give this YouTube channel. I would really like it if it could become a full-time gig, because I could like go to places and like talk to people about mental health and give talks and learn things and interview people, and that would just be fantastic. It would be something I could share with you guys, and something that you know, I hope that I could interview people and like get different perspectives, and that could help other people. So that's kind of, you know, that's what we're looking at right now. But today, let's get to the topic at hand. Today, we are talking about self-injury and cutting, because an Anon on Tumblr asked me to make a video about this like a month ago, and I've kind of had I kind of live a crazy life. And we're going to talk about self-injury. Why am I agreeing to talk about this? Well, a few of you know that I do have this problem from time to time. And, you know, it's a very personal issue to me. It's something that still affects me. It's not like I get an urge every day, but they do come and go. And, you know, it's something that a lot of young people still struggle with, and it is not normal to be like 14 and 15 and be like, you know what, like, is gonna help me deal with my emotions right now is like making myself bleed. That's not healthy, it's not normal, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video, there's a part of you that wants to stop. Another thing, you know, I always really push people towards professional help because I'm not a professional, but I also understand that not everybody's going to have access to professional help. I kind of want to try to do what I can for people who, for whatever reason, can't access it. What started me to start cutting and what has helped me? It's just strategies that I've learned from therapy, things that I've read online, things that I've read from books, just a lot of different things that I hope will help you. And if you are struggling right now, please know that you're not alone. Also, please know that it does get better. It's not something that's gonna follow you for the rest of your life. I mean, my wrists look like Swiss cheese, but people generally don't ask me about it and generally don't stare anymore. Like, it's becoming a more common thing, which isn't good, but it also, you know, it's not like something that's necessary. It's not gonna like, people aren't gonna judge you for it, or if they are gonna judge you for it, they're not people you need in your life. When did I start cutting? For me, that was when I was probably about 12. A few years earlier, actually. I had this best friend who I don't talk to her anymore. It's been years. She had found this article in this teen magazine, and it was about these two girls who were like cutting together, and about how they would kind of compete to see like who could like feel more pain and all these other things. And we both kind of agreed that that was pretty messed up, and we were never gonna do it, and all these other things. And a few years later, I'm sitting in my room by myself, listening to a local alternative radio station, taking a razor to my wrist. And I don't really know what sparked it. I don't really know why I did it at that time, but I mean, I do know where I got the idea, and I got the idea from that article, which was ironically supposed to deter me from it. Good job, magazine people. Okay, so there was a point in my household where we actually had to like have all the razors and sharp objects and everything put into like a safe. Well, it was like a tiny little lock safe. It wasn't like a big fancy gun safe or something. That was a really hard time in my life. People talk about teen angst. It's totally normal for teenagers to get depressed, and I think to a certain extent that's probably true. I mean, you're going through a lot, you're trying to figure out who you like, who you don't like, especially if, you know, you're queer, such as I, and you're just going through a lot. There's a lot of stress, there's not enough time to sleep and do sports, the sports that will get you into college, and do social activities, and yada 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 yada. So you're pretty stressed. The whole idea that teen angst is so normal, and like that self-injury is so normal that we shouldn't really talk about it, is not something I agree with, which is why I'm making this video. Strategies that have helped me, and I hope that these will help you. The number one thing I can recommend is talking to someone. talking to anyone. The National Suicide Hotline doesn't just take calls for people who are suicidal, they also take calls for people who are struggling with eating disorders and self-harm and anxiety and I mean all kinds of things. And it's a completely confidential 24-hour service. There's the Trevor Project. There's a lot of different phone numbers that I will be putting in the description down below that I hope can help you if for some reason you don't have anyone to talk to. And there are a lot of us who, for whatever reason, don't have anybody. You know, maybe you live in a household where you can't really talk to your parents. Maybe all your friends have moved away. Maybe you just don't know who to turn to. Maybe you're afraid of putting the burden on someone in your real life, and I use burden in quotes because you were never a burden. So strategies that have helped me in the moment. Not just talking to people, although that does help quite a bit, but distractions. Like, I have YouTube on like 24/7, and part of the reason for that is because Netflix stopped loading on my Roku for some reason, which kind of sucks because I really want to finish The Defenders. Distractions are great. YouTube is full of funny, weird, disturbing, cutesy, whatever you want to find, you can probably find it on YouTube. I follow a lot of different things. I watch Good Mythical Morning pretty much every day, and I also watch Rob Dyke discuss serial killers and horrifying things, and I think that's fascinating, and I'm really into Sanderside's videos, actually. That's actually part of the reason I'm getting back into this YouTube channel is because those videos have started discussing deeper emotion, and it kind of inspired me to go, hey, you know, I should get back into that. They're great distractions, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this. And you can watch them over and over and over, and there's kitten life feed, there's puppy life feeds, there's just all kinds of things that will just make you feel good and warm and wholesome and great, and, you know, at least in that moment, they pull you away from what you're feeling just for a moment. Another thing you can do, if you're cutting because you don't feel real or because you don't feel like you exist, you are real, you exist, you are not someone's hallucination, you are not in someone's dream, you exist as a real person. For anyone who needed that. I sometimes need that, to be totally honest. And what I do in those moments, there are some things that have happened that I sometimes have what I can only describe as flashbacks. And what I do in those moments is I find 5 different textures to touch, and I keep doing that over and over and over until I am grounded in reality. I've also heard of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 game. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can taste, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can, I forgot what my 5th sense was, but I'm a dork. You are real. You are not part of some imagination, hallucination. You're corporeal, you are real, you have a body that you must feed and take care of for however long you shall live. I think that's very important to point out that there are people who struggle with that aspect of this a lot. Those are the biggest things that have helped me, is talking to someone, distractions, and grounding techniques. I would go over a lot more of them, but honestly this video is kind of getting long, and you gotta cut it somewhere. But if you guys want a part 2 to this, I will gladly give a part 2. I will definitely be doing a video about how to handle when people do ask about your scars, because that is something that I do still struggle with, because it really does hit you in the chest. You're just like, oh, you asked me that. That can be really difficult. I hope that if you have the ability to get professional help, that you do not dismiss it, that you do take it seriously. And I would also recommend, if you can't get professional help, look into workbooks online. The Dialectible Behavioral Therapy Handbook is fantastic. It can be bought on Amazon. There's so many resources. There's so much out there that wants to help you feel better. I want you to feel better. And so, that being said, I hope this video helped someone out there, and next I'll be doing a video on navigating Halloween with an eating disorder.